Episode 6 of MobLand featured the fallout from the explosive murder of Ron Stevenson and quickly proved just how dangerous a war with an angry and desperate Richie Stevenson is going to be.
Run.
So far in the gritty crime drama series, the Harrigans have been on the offensive, essentially manufacturing a war with their longtime rivals in the London criminal underworld. Episode 5 of MobLand finally put the Harrigans on their heels at Tommy Stevenson's funeral and wake, but they managed to escape unscathed, with Richie essentially calling a truce with everyone except Eddie Harrigan.
But if I see that little cunt, Eddie Harrigan, out, anywhere, in a pub, on a park bench, he's fair game.
Immediately after, however, Richie's wife Ron was blown up as she turned on her car, doubling Richie's misery and immediately destroying any delusions of peace. While both Kevin Harrigan and Harry D'Souza spent the last 3 episodes trying to manufacture a permanent truce after Eddie and Maeve foolishly assassinated Tommy Stevenson, a furious Maeve nullified their work with just one phone call. The end of Episode 6 of MobLand proved just how significant a mistake that may have been, as 2 Harrigans already found themselves in Richie's crosshairs. What happened to Brendan and Seraphina? Episode 6 ends on a cliffhanger for them. Mondeep Dillon as Seraphina Harrigan looking shocked in MobLand. The few scenes featuring Brendan and Seraphina Harrigan in MobLand's early episodes saw Brendan trying to pitch his financially successful half-sister on some sort of surefire scheme that will supposedly be very profitable not only for themselves, but also provide a method for the Harrigans to launder their money. Brendan's plan finally took shape in Episode 6. As it was revealed, he had a contact trying to move some Mozambican rubies at far less than market price. Seeking to endear herself to the Harrigans as a whole, Seraphina agrees to meet with his contact to feel out the deal. The deal appears to be on the up and up, at least until a small army of gunmen assaults the warehouse where the deal is taking place. After slaughtering everyone, including Seraphina's personally hired contingent of experienced security professionals, both Brendan and Seraphina find themselves surrounded by attackers. The identity of the gunman isn't revealed, nor is the ultimate fate of Brendan or Seraphina, but it seems pretty safe to assume that they were taken captive. If they were going to be killed, it seems unlikely that it would happen off-screen or that quickly, especially if Richie was behind the attack. Why Maeve called Richie? She describes it as her Queen's Gambit. Helen Mirren as Maeve Harrigan and Pierce Brosnan as Conrad Harrigan quietly talking together in MobLand. Once the Harrigans realize that Brendan and Seraphina are far away from the relative safety of the manor at the Cotswolds, Maeve sees an opportunity that she all but tells Conrad about. After describing both Brendan and Seraphina as weak links that she wouldn't mind losing, she enlightens her beloved grandson, and sometimes henchman, Eddie, about her next move. She calls Richie Stevenson directly with Eddie in the room and tells him where he can find Seraphina and Brendan in Antwerp, with the caveat that he is not to harm Brendan, but can do as he likes with Seraphina. The Queen's Gambit in chess involves sacrificing the Queen's pawn early in the game, but if an enemy takes said pawn, then the first player will control the center of the board. Richie immediately calls the Mexicans, essentially outsourcing the hit and kidnap of Brendan and Seraphina to the cartels, as they have active cells all over the world and could get to the wayward Harrigans quicker than he could himself. It's noted earlier in the episode that Jamie Lopez, who runs half the fentanyl in the world and is assumedly Richie's ultimate supplier, absolutely hates Conrad Harrigan for an offense given to his now-deceased father 30 years prior. Maeve describes her call as a calculated risk, and even names it her Queen's Gambit after the popular chess strategy. Who actually made the call to kill Ron Stevenson? Episode 6 featured a twist in the plot. Based on the order of events in Episode 5, Ron insults Maeve. Maeve calls Paul. Ron is blown up. It was assumed that Maeve made the call to kill Richie's wife for the offense she gave. However, when the Harrigans are discussing it after gathering at the manor, Conrad claims that it was him and not Maeve who made the final decision to kill Ron. He dubs the action Plan B and lays out the details of how he had Paul plant the bomb while Vron was out shopping a week earlier. It seems all but certain that it was in fact Maeve who made the snap decision to kill Vron, but Conrad wants to maintain the image that he's the one in control. Thanks for watching.